right? So we will start. So as usual, everyone, good evening, right? And it is going to be fun. So in the last class, just a second, yeah. So everyone, good evening. So in the last class, we had studied a lot of things, right? We had studied a lot of things. We studied about, uh, function. Actually, that is something that we studied in everything in detail, right? Right. We studied everything in the detail. Now, today we are going to study about some specific function, which is actually very, very important, right? Which is very, very important, right? And that is widely used whenever you code or you write a bigger pipeline. So we will start with that. So let me start typing few things on the notebook here. So let's say what we have studied till now, right? I'm not using any pen as of now because this is something we have to understand. Anyway, we have to work on Jupyter notebook itself today. So till now, what we have seen functions in depth, right? Functions in depth, right? So we have studied everything in function. How many of you guys remember about the function, right? If you guys remember, we talked about how to define a function first. Then we also talked about what is the difference between a parameter and argument in detail, right? Do you guys remember that, everyone? Yes or no? Right? Do you guys remember that? What is the difference between argument and parameter? Right. Then we also talked about, so let's say function in depth. We studied about definition of function. We studied the definition of function. Then we discussed about arguments. Arguments. We discussed about parameters. Actually, first parameters. Then we discussed about arguments, parameters, right? And then we discussed about arguments. And I guess we also discussed about different types of argument, different type of argument. And the questions that we practiced actually took a lot of time because we discussed everything in detail, right? If you remember, the most important question, the interview question that I had discussed in the last lecture was how actually function is stored in the memory and how function actually works. Can anyone answer me today in the class? How function actually gets executed? Anyone? Can anyone answer this quickly? Anyone? I'm just not forcing you. Just asking you if someone can answer this. Let's see if anyone can answer this or not. How function actually executes in Python? I had explained you in detail in the last lecture. Anyone has any idea, guys? Quickly, right? Weapon says calling function. Apart from that, what happens? Very good, Sada. So call stack to execution context. First, whenever you call a function, right, then it is actually first goes to call stack, right? Call stack checks, okay, here is the function defined. Then it creates the execution context. Execution context tries to know, right, where is our input variable, what are the computations required, and then again send back to the call stack, and then it is executed at that point of time. What does heap memory do? Whenever dynamic memory is required, then heap memory is used. This was the understanding so far. That was the ultimate depth you guys should know, right? After that, we also saw how to pass a function as argument. Do you guys remember? We saw an implementation. How to pass a function as an argument. Do you guys remember that? Yes or no? We also discussed this. Right, right, right. This is the understanding. IOSS at the memory required at runtime can also be determined. Yes. The basically, runtime, memory is the heap memory. Why? Heap is dynamic. And while runtime, your memory expands. Now, it can, also reduce. So it depends on the program that you are writing. So we have understood this also, how to pass a function as an argument. This was the understanding till now. Right. I guess we have covered everything in detail about the function. So in this lecture, what we are going to see, right? Agenda. Agenda of this lecture, right? Agenda of this lecture, right? Actually, I'm not writing on the pad. I don't know. Somehow I updated my driver, and this driver is actually not allowing me to write it, right? So I'm not writing it here, but I will make sure that I write everything on the notebook. I will fix this driver issue by tonight. So we'll see that. What is the agenda of today's lecture? So we are going to see map, reduce, right? Filter, right? These are different types of function. Map, reduce, filter, right? Then we have lambda function, right? Right. We have jeep function. All of these functions are very common function used while writing day-to-day code. So we are going to look into it. Right. Right. Apart from that, we are also going to see a concept called recursion. Then we are also going to see iterators. Then we are going to see generators, 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 right? And then we are going to move towards oops. Guys, this is the agenda, and this is the way how functions should be taught. Everything in detail. If you guys think that anything is being left, do please let me know. Sir, you have not taught this in the function. I would love to teach you guys whatever things are left. So we are going to complete this today. I think if we complete these generators, it is going to be uh, big task. Piyush is saying factorial number. Piyush, what is this recursion? Right? What is this recursion, Piyush? You have to answer, Piyush. What is this recursion? Okay. So let's start, guys. So we will start, right? We will try to understand everything in detail. But before that, if you guys have any questions, just throw questions on me. Please go ahead and ask any questions that you have. And then we will start today's lecture. Any questions that you have, right? In last class, right? Right. Vipin says when function call itself. Yes, that is the recursion. Right. Right. We'll talk about this recursion Vipin in detail. There are a lot of things related to recursion. Right. 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 Piyush says I don't know in detail. If I know, arey yaar, leave it, Piyush. Anyone else has any other question? Right. Anyone else has any other question? Right. Should we start now? I guess there is no any other questions that anyone has to ask. Now this is the right time that we should start our session today. So we will start with first with a lambda function. Lambda function. What is this lambda function? Anyone has any idea? Lambda function. Anyone has any idea? What is this lambda function? Right? Right. Anyone has any idea about lambda function? Piyush, Rajkumar, Tushar, Adeline, Janav. What is this lambda function? Right? Right. Anyone has any idea about lambda function? Vipan, I am seeing you for the first time, I guess, in the live class. Right? Right. What is lambda function? Right. Janav is saying it is defined one line or an anonymous function. Very good. Many of you are answering it, correctly. Very good. What is a lambda function? Now it's my turn to actually define you. This definition, whatever I will be throwing on you, you don't need to worry about that. Right. Right. So first of all, I will just write it here. Right. So we'll start with lambda function. As we cover each time the topic, we will, rename it. Rename it lambda function. right? Lambda function. I will see the notebook here, right? Lambda function, right? So what is lambda function? We will talk about that. Before that, internal assignment, sorry, assignment 2. Have you guys attempted? I also uploaded the solution, right? Did you guys attempted those 69, 70 questions? Anyone attempted those assignment 2? Quickly, guys. Anyone attempted that assignment 2? Janab says on it. Very good. What about other people? Rajkumar says doing. What about you, Vipan? Guys, Vipan sir was the person who asked me to give more questions. So Vipan sir told that give us more basic questions. That's how I given like 69 questions now. Okay, Vipan says not started yet. Other people? Other people? What about other people? Adeline, Wali, Sajil, Pratiksha, Rutvik, right? Tanya. Are you guys trying to attempt those questions? Ayush, but I will complete soon, not started yet, in progress. Please do it, guys. Please do it. Please do it. If you attempt it, believe me, no one is going to reject you in any interview. Right? Whoever knows Python might be able to relate it. What is the depth we are following? What is the standard we are following? But only one thing, that standard can make only sense if you try to solve questions that I have given to you. That will make you more confident. Okay, enough of Gyan. Let's move ahead. So this is your lambda function. What is a lambda function? A lambda function, right? In Python, in Python, in Python, in Python is a concise way to create anonymous function, anonymous function, anonymous function, anonymous function, also known as also known as lambda, or let's say let it be here. It is also known as lambda expression, but let it be like this. So lambda function in Python is a concise way to create anonymous function. Right? What is the meaning of this? Right. So let's say if you want to make, let's say if you want to make a regular function, if you want to write a regular function. So what is the 4 things that you require in writing a regular function? Everyone, what is the 4 things required to write a regular function? You have to use the word keyword def. Then you have to define function name. Then what you have to do? You have to pass the parameter. And then finally, you have to write return. And let's say you want to square the number, you do x square. Done. Now if you do square of 2, you will get 4. If you just call square of 3, then it will be 9. Very good. Not a problem. Now the question is, fine, this was a small function. Do we really need to follow all of these steps? Def, function name, argument, return. Do we really need to follow this? Now this is the question. And you have to think it. Let's say there are multiple functions like this. There are multiple functions like this where you just want to execute a short code. Then it will be cumbersome. Each time you have to write a big function. Then what is the way out? What is the way out? Then comes our favorite, that is lambda function, also called as anonymous function, lambda function, or anonymous function, or a shorthand function. Whatever you want to say, you say it. Right? Shorthand function. Right? Whatever you want to say. Right. Right. This is lambda function. But now, what is the syntax? What is the syntax? Syntax is the easiest in the world. The syntax of the lambda function is easiest in the world. Just write lambda x and then x, or let's say I will just write here in this generic term so that you first understand. So lambda, then you write argument, and then you write expression. That's it. This is your lambda function, right? Lambda, arguments, and expression. This is the understanding. This is the syntax. So I'll write it here syntax. Syntax. Now again, one possible interview questions, and you have to answer. How many arguments a lambda function can accept? Obviously, many of you might not answer here as of now because I haven't discussed a lot of things. But let's say this can be one of the possible question. I don't need any right answer. Just food for thought. Can anyone answer this? How many arguments a lambda can have? A lambda function can have. Right? Vedic says one. Sada says it accepts any number of arguments. Anyone else? Think it, guys. Anyone else? Anyone else? Quickly. Tushar says 2. Very good, Tushar. Guys, idea of this lecture is not to only come and teach. You have to also increase your thought process, right? Increase your logical understanding, right? Right. I have been always a very liberal teacher. I have not been strict, right? Right. So guys, please try to be active in the class, right? Ayush says any number of argument. Rajkumar says any number of argument. Very good. So a lambda function can take any number of argument, any number of argument, right? Right. It is not necessary that it will take only one or two arguments. Why I ask this question? Because this is a generic misconception that okay, lambda is a simple function, then it will take only one argument. But it is not the correct thing. Lambda function can take any number of arguments, but 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 expression will be only one, but can have only one expression. Only one expression. This expression will be only one. Now, obviously, you will understand when I start solving questions, and I will just now start it. But let's say if you want to start it, so let's say this was your function, this was your function. How to write a lambda function out of this function? How to write a lambda function out of this function? As usual, first thing, do lambda. Lambda. What is the argument that is taking? It is taking x. So just write x. Done. Then what you can do? Have a colon. So you can just write colon like this. And then expression. Expression means whatever logic you want to write. This is your x square. Now you can make it right something like this. Square lambda. So square lambda is your lambda function. Now just call this value with the argument that you want to pass. It is 2, that is 4. You want the square lambda to be, let's say, you want of 5. So it will be 5. 25. Is it clear? Yes or no? So far, so good. Quickly, everyone. Everyone. Is it clear? Right. Is it clear now? Right. Right. Is it clear now? Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Right. 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 No. 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 Fine. This is something that we have understood. Right. Tushar says, why don't we write return here? Tushar, very simple answer. If you write return, then why to use lambda function? Then use this one. The whole idea of lambda function is to make a shorthand function. If you start writing return, if you start writing the name of the function, def keyword, then just do it this one. Very easy. This is the understanding. Now, Tushar asks another question. Can we use default parameter in the lambda? Right. So here, if you try using it, let's try using it. So this is your square lambda, right? Right. Here it is x equals to 0. So let's say you do it like this. Now what will happen? Square lambda x is equals to 0. Now, if you just call it this square lambda like this, right? See what happens. It will give you 0. Now if you put it by default value 2, then if you just write 2, then it will give you 4. So this way, the default value or default argument of lambda function works. Simple. Vipin says when to use lambda function. I will come to that, Vipin. First, let's try to understand this. I will come to that. Is it clear, Tushar? Everyone, is it clear? Right. Right. So default parameter, default argument in lambda function. Lambda function. Now moving ahead. Now write a lambda function, some work, because you have to practice it. Write a lambda function to add two numbers. Lambda function to add two numbers. So if you insert any other number, that is 5, it will look like this, 5 into 25. But if you don't provide any value, whatever by default value is there, then you can just, that calculation will be done. Now write a lambda function to add two numbers. Now try it out, guys. Try it out, guys. Everyone. Right. Very good. Rajkumar, very good, Sada. How to do this? Right. Very easy. Again, just do lambda. Now this time, you can have two arguments. Let's say a comma b. These are the two arguments because you want to add two numbers. First of all, execute this. See, this is a lambda function. Now let's name it add. Add is equals to this. Now just pass two values, 2, 3. It will be added. Now write a lambda function. Write a lambda function. Write a lambda function to know if a number is even. To know if a number is even or odd. Let's see. Please try it out, guys, quickly. Please try it out. Quickly. Everyone, Vedic, very good. Sazil, very good. Other people, please try it out. Very good. Many of you have written it correctly. So let's say if I have to write a lambda function, then what I can do? Right. I can just do write lambda, and then x, and then let's say x percent. Very easy. X percent 2 is equals to 0. Done. Right. So let's say here you can just write is even. If you just write is even, if it is an even number, it will give you true. So let's say is even. Then let's say you pass 12. Yes, it is an even. That's how you get it true. Now guys, let's say you have one list. List is something like this. A is equals to, let's say, career. Then we have craft. Then we have data science, DS. And let's say you have Ajay. Ajay. You have to sort this using lambda function based on number of characters. Based on number of characters. Quickly, anyone? This is going to be interesting. You have to sort this, right? You have to sort this based on the number of characters. Right? Tajil has written some answer. Anyone else? Quickly. Rajkumar, Vaidik, very good. Other people, try it out, guys. If you don't try it out, you will not learn it. Please try it out. Just try it out. Very good. So let's start with this. So here, let's say you want to sort this based on, right? Based on the length of the character. So you already know, to get the length, you can use a function called length. L-E-N. Length. Right. So what you can do here, right? Sorted. So you want to sort this. So sorted is that function. Now here in this sorted, you want to pass A. This is the data you want to pass. Now if you see here shift tab, you will find there is a parameter called key. What does key do? So this key actually help us to define the logic based on what you have to sort that particular list. So what should be the logic? Key. So here I can just write key. Now directly you cannot write length. Simply you can just write lambda x and then you can just write length of x. See the use case. How beautifully you have written this. This becomes your sorted words. So length of x I have written. So length of x. So this is your sorted words. Sorted words. That's it. Now you just copy paste this and now see how it has been sorted. See, DS 2 character, then 4 character, then 5 character, and then the highest one. Very good, Jana. Did you guys got this? Everyone? Yes or no? Quickly. Everyone. This is your lambda function. Is it clear? Yes or no? Everyone? Right. Now, what is difference between a normal function and lambda function and when to use? So let's try to understand this. Right. So first of all, characteristics of a lambda function. Of a lambda. What is the characteristics of a lambda function? First, it has no name. There is no any name. Fine. First thing. Right. Second, lambda is a single line function. Single line function. This is the second thing that we already have seen. Right. Third, right. Third, lambda function is not reusable. Reusable. Why? Because once you have written, you cannot call it again. You have to rewrite the complete. So not reusable. Third thing. Now fourth thing, right? That is very important. There's no any return statement. No any return statement. Now the question is, then why to use lambda function? Why to use lambda function? Why to use lambda function? So this is the question. Then why to use lambda function? Anyone has any idea why to use lambda function? Quickly, let me see how many of you can just answer it. Right. Quickly, guys. Right. Very good. Santanu says lambda can be used with other function. Very good. Very good. To make code in sort and apply. Very good. To allow you to create simple. Very good. Everyone has almost answered it correctly. There is a reason behind this. Right. Right. So lambda function, right? Lambda function actually helps in, or let's say lambda function helps in writing writing higher order function, or let's say big function, very simple, higher order function. Right? It helps you to actually write something, right, 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 in a very short and simple way. We have seen the example. This is square example. You have to write this, right? Here you don't need to write anything. Just write lambda x square. That's it. Right, right. Another aspect. So let's say here it is shorthand function. Shorthand function. Already you know shorthand function. Easy to write. Second, it also helps in writing higher order function, means other bigger function. How? I will show you. I will show you in just a second. Now, let's say, let's say, let's say, right, right, right. Now you have to, okay, but just start with an example, very example. Let's say, check, check, check. If a substring is present in a string or not, in a string or not. Let's say this is example. First of all, solve this. How will you solve it, guys? How will you solve it? Let's say S is equals to career craft, career craft, career craft. Now you want to check if RE is present in this string or not. What you can do? So you can just write, let's say RE. So maybe write lambda. Directly you can write, very good Pius, but I will just show you lambda, right? Then you can just write, let's say some argument, maybe let's say uh, x. So let's say this is an argument, and now you will just write, right? Let's say you write, right? Here I will just write RE in x. This is your lambda function. Very good. I'm writing this function, and I just named it sub. So let's say sub. Sub, this is the name. Sub is the name. Now, what you can do? So let's say sub of s. What it will give you? True. It means the RE is present here. Very good, not a problem. Now again, let's say sub of, right? Sub of, let's say here, instead of career craft, let's say data science. Is it present in this? It is false. But let's say data science RE. Then what it will give you? It will give you true, because RE is in the last. So if you use RE in S, that Pius has mentioned, right? Right. It will be for only one string. Here, now you have written just this phrase and just keep repeating it. Again, this is not the reason why you have to use, lambda function. I will come to that. But again, I want to get into one more thing. Conditionals with lambda function. Conditionals with lambda function. With lambda function. This is also one of the important thing. And then I will go and show you an example of higher order function. How in a big function, lambda function can play an important role. So conditional with lambda function. Right. Right. So let's say again, what you can do? You have to write if a number is even or odd. Can you write a conditional function? Already, I guess Pius has written already just few seconds before. But let's see. Right? Can anyone write this? Right. Can anyone write this quickly? Quickly. Very good, Pius. Anyone else? Everyone, please write it. Everyone, quickly. Everyone. Okay. Apart from Pius, other people, if a number is even or odd, very good, Janav has written. So here I've just copied the function of Pius. Lambda x even if this is 0, else odd. So let's say a of 3. So let's say a of 3, it will give you odd. A of 5, so it will give you odd. A of 56 or let's say 6, it will give you even. This is something that I wanted to you guys to see. Now comes right this characteristics of lambda function. Right, 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 right. So I am just writing it here. Now lambda function helps in writing higher order function. Okay, someone is saying screen is off. Oh, it should be nice now. So now lambda function helps in writing higher order function. What is the meaning of this? So to understand this, I will give you a code. Let's say L is equals to, see it carefully. Values are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So this is a list. Very good, not a problem. Now you want this list values to make a cube out of it. You want cube of this value. You want cube of all the values in the list. How can we do so, guys? How can we do so? How can we get a cube value of all the values in the list? Anyone? Like, just try it out. How can we get it? Can we do directly L cube? Something like this? This is going to be interesting. How, guys? How? A couple of seconds to think. Then I will start explaining, guys. Quickly. Right. Pratiksha has used map. No, Pratiksha. So let's say you don't want to use map here as of now. How can we do so? Janav has used a list comprehension. Very good. Right. Very good. Right. But actually, I will just show you. So let's say I will define a function. Def cube. Cube the number. And now I will just write fun, that is your function, and the list. And this is going to be a lot of fun. Now what I'm going to do, let's say this is a function. Now output, I will just write like this. Out is equals to this. And now I will say for I in L. For I in L, output dot append. See what I'm going to do. And just write fun of I. This is interesting. You must be thinking what we are doing here, but this is going to be fun. So what we have done, cube function of L. So these are the two parameters. You iterate through all the values in this list and then again you are calling this function and passing this value I to it. And what is this function? What is this function? This is going to be interesting. Q. So let's say this is the function, right? And here you will write a lambda function x with xq, right? So this becomes a function, and now you pass a list, something like this, and see what happens. So if you just execute this, okay, name L is not defined because I have not executed this piece of code. So now I will execute it here. And now if you see, this cube of lambda is coming out. Obviously, if you want to see the value, what I can do here, you can just print the value of output. So the print of value of output, now you see 1, 8, 27, 64, 125. So what actually happened here? So lambda as a function was called inside, right, a bigger function. Let's say a higher order function. Right? So this way you can also use your lambda function. So now when to use lambda function? I will just write few comments. When to use lambda function? First thing, if the function is not going to be reused, is not going to be reused. This is the first thing. Second, if the function is a helping function for a bigger function, for a bigger function, right? This is the second. These 2 pointers are important to understand when the lambda function to be used. And that's how I have shown you for a bigger function, this lambda function is actually working as an argument and then it is passed here. This is the understanding. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Quickly. Right. Right. Someone is saying screen not visible. Is it, guys? Screen is not visible. Quickly. Is my voice not audible? Okay, very good. So this was all about the lambda function. There are more things to the lambda function. I will come back again to the lambda function after we have studied recursion, right? After we look at the recursion, I will come again back to this. But as of now, hopefully you guys have understood the lambda function. Now moving towards another function that is called as map. What is this map? What is this map? What is this map? This is again very interesting. So whatever you have done, actually this would have been more short or more easier to do using the map function. It would have been more easy. It would have been more easy after using map function. After using map function. But how to use this? Right? How to use this? Now we are going to understand. What is a map function? So now lambda is done. So we are now going to look at map function. Right? Map. What is this map? Right? So map function, right, executes a specified function for each item in an iterable. That's the understanding. Now what is the syntax of map function? I will talk about that. So map syntax is map function, whatever function is there, it can be lambda function, it can be any other function, and then iterable. That's it. This is the syntax of map function. How it works? I will talk about this in detail. So let's say the same thing. Here L is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you want to cube all the numbers. How to do that? How to do that? Everyone. How to cube all the numbers here? Right. Very easy. Right. Very easy. What you can do? I will just write a lambda function. Lambda function. Very good. This is a lambda function. Lambda function takes an argument. It cubes it. X cube. Very good. Not a problem. This is the function. But map takes what? Map takes function and iterable. So function is ready. Now what is iterable? Iterable means list, where you can run a loop, and now just pass inside this map and you are done. See? This map has been executed. If you want to see the value, just write list of this to check out the value. And here you see 1, 8, 27, 64, 125. Easy. Now again, let's raise the level. Right? Let's raise the level. Now again, let's say this is the list. This is the list. Now you have to make another list with label odd and even, corresponding to each of the number, corresponding to each of the number, to each of the number. Again, make another list, right? So let's say another list. 1, it should be odd. 2, it should be even. 3, odd. 4, even. 5, odd. This type of list you have to. Because now this time you have to answer it. Santanu asked map lambda, but what is the output of this, sir? So this is a map object. This is a map object. So let's say this is a map object. So this is your map object. So this so this is a memory location where the object has been stored. Now to retrieve the value, you have to use any data structure. So let's say list and this. So Python knows only the regular data structure. Let's say list, string, something like that, which you can display. But these are also some sort of object which has been stored in Python, but you cannot look at it. Now, how to look at this? Convert this to list, then you will be able to easily look after this. That's why you see here, whenever you are just writing like this is an object, map at. So this is a mapper object at this particular position. Did you understood this, Tantanu? Right. Now, moving ahead, make another list. So here I'm just writing mapper object. Mapper object. Now the question is, make another list with label odd and even corresponding to each of the number. This you have to guys answer it. Everyone has to do it. Right? Everyone has to do it. Adeline, you have to do it. Vipan, Tushar, Susant, Naglata, Afrin, you guys have to do it. Sukhi, you have to also do it. Right? Right. Adeline, where is Ado? I'm not seeing her in the class, your friend, if I'm taking her name correctly. Right. Please try it out, guys, everyone. Make another list with label odd and even corresponding to each of the number. Everyone. Very good. Very easy. Right. So let's say lambda. Very good. So now you can just say, I want to have written even if x percent 2 is equals to 0, right? Else odd. I want this odd. Very good. This is a function. Now what you have to do? You have to use map. Map takes a function and then some iterables. So let's say L. Very good. Now this will be a mapper object, but as soon as you write the list, then you will get a label even or odd. See, 1 is odd, 2 is even, 3 is odd, and so on. Is it correct? Everyone? Everyone has done till now? Say it, guys. Should I give you more tougher question? Should I give you more tougher question? Will you try to do this? Right? Okay. Let me give you one more tougher question. Let's say, actually, I will give you three more questions. Right? I will give you a lot of questions. So let's say you have grades. So let's say you have grades. Right? So here you have grades something like this. So let's say grades are A, then grades are B, right? Grades are C, and grades are D. These are the grades. Now what you have to do? Using 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 map and lambda function, right? Right, 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 right. Make make right make GPA out of grade. How? So A means 5 GPA, B means 4 GPA, C means 3 GPA, and D means 4 GPA. You have to make a map and lambda function in such a way, if someone gives the grade BCD or BAAB, it will give you the GPA 54145 like this. This is the understanding. So here I have B is, let's say, 5, 4, 3. D will be 2. D will be 2. Right. This is something that you have to do. Guys, start doing it. Right. Another question. Right. Right. So let's say you have words, some words. Right. You have some words. So let's say Python, Python. Right. Then we have Ajay. Right. Capitalize, capitalize the first letter of what? Right. Capitalize first letter of each word. Each word. Try it out, this guys. I can give you multiple questions. Just try it out. Let's say you have two lists. First name, first name, right? First name, Tom, Tom, right? Second name, let's say Adeline, right? Now, then we have last name, last name. Last name is Tom. Tom's last name is Jerry. Adeline's last name is Webb. Let's say you have to combine both the first name and last name. Combine, combine first name and last name. First name and last name. Start doing, guys. Start doing it. Show your skills now. Everyone. Very good, Janav. Very good, Janav. Janav has done it very correctly. Right. right? Fuse has also done it, right? Right. Sada has done the capitalized words, right? Everyone, guys, just try it out. Everyone, please try it out, right? If you guys don't try it out, no one is going to help you. Please try it out. You will try it out, face any issue, I will help you out. Right. So should I solve, guys, everything? First, this question. These are the words. These are the grids. How to do this? I will just take any solution from the chat. Let's say Janav. Janav has written a very good code. So let's say Janav has written this. So just copy paste it. So grade is this A, B, C, D. C has written map lambda. Grade, very good. If grade is A, very good. Else, 4 if grade is equals to B. Oh my god. Oh my god. So you have made the situation complex here. I don't think it is wrong. Let's execute this 5432. Very good, right? But this is not the optimal solution. You have made the situation a little bit tougher here. I will show you how to make it more beautifully, how to write this, right? But very good. This is not a bad thing. You can do this way. So I'll just write it here more optimal way, right? Let's say here Janab solution, Janab solution, Janab solution, right? Janab's solution. See why this is a problematic. If grade is equals to A, else. If grade is equals to B, else. Actually, you can arrange this in a more better way. Okay, Sajil has written that. Very good, Sajil. I guess Sajil has written this. So let's try this Sajil map. Right. Whatever Sajil has written. Very good, Sajil. So see this. Right. Right. So this code, if you say grade is equals to ABCD, it is more short. No. So here, if you say grade B, okay, he's saying error. So if it is an error, then I will just leave it. I will write my own code now. Let it be. So let's say here, first of all, lambda. So let's say I will just write a lambda expression. Then here, grade. Right. Right. Now what I am going to do, grade, right. Here, this grade is my argument. Now 4. This will be 4 if grade is equals to A. Right. If grade is equals to A. Till here, I have just copied, right, Janab's solution. But after this, what I'm going to do, right, right, I will just write else. Here, I will just write else. Now, what I can do, else. Now, here I can write 3 if grade is equals to. See what I'm going to do. Else 3 if grade is equals to B. Right. Now, so let's say if I am just removing D, I will remove this D. Right. This will look more better. So let's say this is your A else this. Right. Now inside this else, if condition has been written, now I will just write else 2. Very simple. Else 2. Now, if there would have been grade D, again you can increase elif else. You can do that. Not a problem. Now here else 2. Right? Something like that. So I'm just copying her, but with a more proper approach. It means nested if else inside this expression. I'm just copying her, but with a more formal approach, something like this. And now I will just pass grades inside this particular list. Very easy, right? Very easy. And if you just see it now, like, okay, what is the least expected at most one argument? Okay, sorry guys, I have to write here map. So here map, and after that you have to write list. So list. Now this is the value, right? So if you see 4321 or 432. Now again, if you want to get it to D also, you can do that as well. Now moving ahead. So next one was, what is this? You want to capitalize the first letter. How to do that? It is the easiest of all. So you can just do it. Easy. It is very easy. Some might also written it. Right? Pius has written it. So what you can do? Very easy. So here I will just write word is equals to this. So lambda x dot capitalize done. This is like more than enough. See, Python integer. Very good, Pius. Right. Last question. Combine first name and last name. Anyone tried doing it? Anyone tried doing it? Combining the first name and the last name. Quickly, everyone. Right. Combining the first name and last name. Anyone? Combining first name and last name. Anyone tried it, guys? Quickly. Combining the first name and the last name. Quickly, everyone. Right. Samir has written something. Very good. Actually, that sounds good, Samir. So let's say I will just again copy it. First name and last name. So this is your first name and last name. Right. This is your first name and the last. Very good. Now what I can do? What I can do? Lambda. Lambda. First. 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 Last. These are the two arguments. Then what you can do? Simple. Let's say you just write a f string. Inside this f string, you can just write first, and then also you can write last. It depends how you approach. I just took this approach, first and last. After that, you pass the list. Let's say here, you just pass this list, first name, and last name, last name. Done, done. Now what you have to do? You have to do map here. So let's say map is here, and then convert this to a list, and you will now get the first name and last name. Tom, Jerry, and then Adeline. Very simple. Did you guys understood this? Right, 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 right. Yes, other approach also you can do. Many of you have writing other approaches as well. Very good. Samir has written some other approach. That can be also correct. Another approach. Let's see it another approach. But this is something I wrote it. Another approach. Let's see another approach. So this is combined names and then full names. So he has written something like this. Right? So here something like this. And now first name is not defined. Okay, first names, last name he has written. So first name and last name. And let's see it. Now let's see full name, right? So full name. So full names looks like this. Very good. You can approach this way as well. Sajil has another approach, right? Right. So there can be multiple approach, not a problem. Right. Did you guys understood this? Right. Jana says, how do we know that my code is good or optimized? See, to know your code is good or optimized, there is two things. First, time complexity. Second, space complexity. Obviously, we are not going to study here because that is a part of data structure and algorithm. What is a time complexity, space complexity, right? But in general, right, it comes with experience. It will come with experience that if you have it an optimized code or not, right? When you start writing more and more code, if you are using multiple loops, obviously that is not optimal. right? Right. So DSA will be a complete course in itself, right? It will require again 3-4 months to understand these details. But if you ask me as a data scientist, right, right, what you need to figure it out to write optimized code? Very simple. First, see if there are not multiple loops. Try to use, that is the first thing, right? Not to use multiple loops. Second, try to use native function. Native function means lambda, map. Further, we are going to use reduce, filter, that sort of function. That's it. This is something I would suggest as of now. But if you guys are more interested, then you have to study about data structure and algorithm, about if your code is actually optimized or not. Okay. So far, anyone has any other questions? Please go ahead. Anyone has any other questions? Please go ahead. Any other questions? Right. No any questions, guys? Everyone, quickly. Right, right, right. Okay. So now Piyush is saying break set. Arey yaar, Piyush, you daily do this break set. So now we are going to use reduce function. So we are going to look at reduce function, and then after that we are going to take a break. Okay. So what is this reduce function? As of now, we have seen two functions, lambda, and then we also saw, right, right, map function. So now we are going to see the reduce function. Again, this is very, very interesting function. Right? Very, very interesting function. Right? Right? Naglata is asking, can you please explain the execution of lambda function? Very good. I can explain it. Please try to, ask the questions whenever the topics are covered. Otherwise, I have to again uh, go back and just see it, right? And then, uh, you know, then again I need to re-answer it, right? By just going back to the topic. But again, since you have asked, let's go to working of lambda function. How does lambda function work? So maybe I have to just go back here. Grades, words. This is map. Now map has right, right. Atanaska says, I don't have audio. Is it only me? Yes, Atanaska. Can someone type and reply to Atanaska that we are having audio, you only have the problem. So here, where is this particular thing? Map is here. Okay. Here, when to use lambda function, we have seen working of lambda function. Let's make a new segment, working of a lambda function. Working of a lambda function. So let's try to understand this working of a lambda function. Right, right. First thing, syntax is clear that you have one argument, one expression. Right. Second thing, argument can be in any number, right? And expression will be only one. Right, right. So whenever now you have understood this context is there. Whenever you create a lambda function, whenever you create a lambda function, right? Whenever you create a lambda function, a function object is created. A function object is created. Object is created. This is the first. After the definition of function, after defining. So, okay, you understood that after definition of the function, working of lambda function, right? Lambda function with lambda keyword, lambda keyword. Then, whenever you create a lambda function, a function object is created. This is the second thing that happens. Now, this object, whatever is the object, this function object this function object, right? This function object is assigned to a variable, is assigned to a variable. Now, this function object is assigned to a variable. Right? Now, what will happen? Then, right, this function is assigned to a variable, and whenever you call the variable, with, whenever you call the variable with arguments, it gets executed. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. Right. Naglata says through Python tutor. Naglata doesn't make sense to go to Python tutor to explain lambda function, because the reason being lambda function is a one line code. It will just show you once executed. That's it. Right. Right. It will be just executed one line because this is a one line. Right. Is it clear, everyone? How lambda function works? Quickly, everyone. Right. Yes or no? Right. 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 This is how the lambda function works. Right. No, 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 no. We have understood this. Coming to map function, we have the same way map function also works. I think you have understood this. Now, one more thing, how to understand analogy of a map function. Analogy of a map function. Analogy of a map function. It's very easy. Analogy of a map function. Just think of a conveyor belt, or let's say factory conveyor belt. Right. So factory conveyor belt. Factory conveyor belt. Factory conveyor belt. So what happens, guys, in a factory conveyor belt? Right. Let's say if you are creating a box, somewhere handles are there, somewhere the outer things are actually given a step, somewhere the cover has been designed. This is how the conveyor belt works. At different steps, right, that particular product is transferred at different stages. So factory conveyor belt, right, right. I can just write products are modified at different stages, at different stages. And what happens? Factory products are modified at different stages in conveyor belt. Now consider at one point of time, this conveyor belt is one list, and each of the product is being modified. How will you modify it? Using the map function. Right, right, right. So you can just write as conveyor belt belt as conveyor belt process each product map also process each element of the iterable. In case if anyone is not able to remember this, you can remember. In this way you can remember. Obviously this was not required. I believe you guys are smart enough to figure it out what is map, but let's say fair enough, I have also given you an analogy how to understand this particular map function. Is it clear, or it has just confused you more, guys? Everyone, is it that it has confused you more, right? Hopefully it has not confused it more, but let's say if it has confused it more, just forget that, right? So now should I move ahead with reduce function? Yes or no? Right, 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 right. Should I move ahead with the reduce function, everyone? Quickly. My notepad is not working and I'm like, I don't have my weapon. So actually, whenever my pen works, I have a weapon to explain everything more intuitively. So let's start with the reduce function. So in real life, what is the meaning of reduce? Anyone? What is the meaning of reduce in real life? Right. So let's say if someone asks you, I will reduce you by 2 inches. What does it mean? I will reduce you by 2 inches. What does it mean? Janab. Janab being very innocent says cut. Janab, if someone says you, I will reduce you by 2 inches, it doesn't mean they will cut you. They are trying to say, I will murder you. Okay? Okay. So, reduce simply means, right, 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 right. Folding or, folding or, folding or decreasing. That's it. Folding or decreasing. Very important function. I will give you one industry use cases as well. Lambda, I have already given you the industry use cases. Map, already you understood where is the industry use cases. But reduce, sometimes you feel like this is unnecessary function, right? But actually this is a lot of use cases. I will come to that. I will come to that, right? What is reduce, how to use in the industry. I will talk about everything in detail. No need to worry about that. Right? I will talk about everything in detail. Right? So reduce function. Right? So to understood the reduce function or to actually work on reduce function, right? We will import a module. Right? What is this module? Right, right, right. That module is func tools. Import func tools. Now you guys already know till now what is a module. Obviously, I have not explained it in detail. But what is a module? Module is like a Python script which has been written somewhere and stored, which you can use. That's it. What is func tools? Func tools is a module. What is a module? Right. Very simple. Module is like a Python script which has been written and stored somewhere which you can use. That's it. That is the understanding of module. Now, what is this func tool? Func tool is a module inside which you have reduce. Just write func tools dot reduce. The moment you write reduce, you will get it. Just write red and hit tab. You will get the reduce. Right? Now comes the interesting thing. What is reduce? What is the use case? I will talk about in everything in detail. So let's start understanding about the reduce function. What is a reduce function? Right, right, right. So it is a process. I will just write it is a process. It is a process where, 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 where you reduce, where you reduce, where you reduce, right? A list of items, right? List of items. Let's say a list of items to a single value, to a single value, to a single value. Or you can just say cumulative value, cumulative, cumulative value, cumulative value. But what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? Right, 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 right. What is the meaning of this? What is the syntax of this? So syntax. First we will start with syntax and then we will see with an example that you will be able to understand it more clearly. Right. So let's say here, I will just write it here. Very easy. Right. What is the syntax of reduce function? So here I will just write reduce syntax, syntax. So you have to just write reduce and then logic or function And finally numbers or list or iterables. Let's say iterables. Generally iterables are list. You will find it as a list. Now, to make you guys understand this, what I will do, I will take an example. So let's say here, I will just write like this. Here, let's say I will just use import functors. First of all, guys, everyone import this. Very good. You might have imported it. Now, 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 I have a question for you. So let's say you have list. List is equals to maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to actually add all of these numbers together. How will you add it? Obviously, you will say, sir, I can use sum. Ajay, I can use sum. But now you have to do this using the reduce function. How can you do this? How can you do this? So here, first thing, func tools, just write func tools dot reduce. Func tools dot reduce. Now if you hit tab, shift tab, apply a function of 2 arguments. See, very important, 2 arguments cumulatively to the item of a sequence of iterable from left to right as to reduce the iterable to a single value. And this is the very good explanation. So just write it here, how it works. See here. This is the way it is working. This is the way it is working. Actually, this is something, if I would have a pen, then I would have showed you in a more better way. But this is something you need to understand. So here, first of all, I will just write x comma y, and then x plus y, x plus y, right? Then what do you have to do? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, let's say, or let's say just pass list. So I will pass the list, right? Now, how it will work? I will just talk about this. No need to worry about that. So x, y, what I have done? Func tool dot reduce. Lambda I have not written here. So I'll just write it here lambda, right? Lambda, lambda, and done. So if you just do list is not defined, why list is not defined? Okay, I have not executed this particular line. So this is the list. Now you will see the value is 15. How it has worked? Very important, guys. This has to be understood because there is a reason. There is a reason why you have to understand this. So here let's say x and y, x plus y list. List has value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how reduce will work? First step 1 plus 2. Very good. Calculated 1 plus 2, that is 3. Then 3 plus 3 because the next value is 3. Again 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 3, 6. Then 6 plus 4, that is your 10. So till here you have added, and finally 10 plus 5, that is 50. And that's how you get the result 15. Right. So maybe what I will do, working of reduce function. Working of reduce function. Right. I'll get an image maybe. Uh, yes, very good. This is the image. No, this is not the image yet. Okay. 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 Wait, I will just try to do something so that you guys bear with my handwriting, but I will just try to make you guys understand. My pen doesn't work, but my mouse can work it. So I will just try to show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How it works? First 2. 1 plus 2. 3. Then again 3 this side. So 3 plus 3. that is 6. Again now this has become 6 and this will be here 4. This time 6 plus 4 that becomes 10 and finally 10 plus 5 this becomes 15. At each step, if you see carefully, this is A, or let's say this is your X, this is your Y. Here it becomes X, this becomes Y. At this step, this becomes X, this becomes Y. Did you guys now understood? Yes or no? Quickly, how reduce works? Yes or no, guys? Quickly. Yes or no? Everyone. Right, right. Everyone. Right. This is how reduce works. But there's a problem in it. I have written here reduce doesn't work. Reduce doesn't work. Doesn't work with three arguments. Three arguments. What is the meaning of this? Right. Reduce doesn't work with three arguments. Why it is so? Right. Or more than two arguments. Let's say right here. More than two arguments. More than two arguments. Right? It doesn't work. How? I will just show you again. Let's say here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Right. Let's say you took three arguments. 1, 2, 3. This is your X, this is your Y, this is your Z. Add it. 1, 2, 3. So this becomes 3 to 5, 1, 6. So this becomes 6. Right? Right. Right. Fine. This has become 6. Not a problem. Right. Now next time what will happen? Right. This 1, 2, 3 has become 6. So this becomes 6. Next time, if you start adding again the next time, in that case, what will happen, guys? Right. This will become, right? This will become some value, right? Just a second, guys. Here, just a second. Yes. So this becomes your 6, right? Right. Now here, what will happen? Let's say this becomes X, this becomes 4, that is become your Y, right? And let's say here it becomes Z. Right? So here I have taken only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let's assume there is one more number. This is 6. Then what will happen in this case? This is 5. So 6 plus 4, 10. 10 plus 5, 15. This becomes your 15. Right? This becomes 15. This is your X. Now this is your Y. But where is Z? Where is Z? Where is Z? Right. Now, don't argue with me, Ajay. When you were taking till 5, it worked. No. Whenever a function is written, it is a generic function. If you write a function, it should be generic enough. So here you find out that Z is not available. So basically what is happening? It goes out of the range. So here you can write because it goes out of the range. Got it, everyone? Yes or no? Quickly. Understood this? Everyone understood this? Let's try it out also. So let's say we'll try it out. We can try it out and show you as well. Right. So let's say here, just write here instead of 5, just write one more value 6 and x, y, z and do x plus y plus z. See what will happen. Lambda missing one positional required argument z. It is not possible to do so. That's the problem. But what if you pass the empty list, will reduce work? Anyone? If you pass a empty list, do you think it will work? Quickly, anyone? If you pass the empty list here, what it will work? Do you think it will work? Everyone? If you pass an empty list, do you think it will work? See, reduce of empty iterable with no initial value. So reduce doesn't work. Reduce doesn't work. Doesn't work. Doesn't work with empty list. But does it work with only one value? Let's say two value you have already checked. But does it work with one value only? Just write one element. Will it work, guys? Will it work? Right. Someone is saying screen is not visible. My screen is not visible, guys, everyone. I think my screen is visible. Answer this, guys. Do you think this will work? No one is answering this. Will it work, guys? Quickly. Right. Right. So this is a corner case. If you are not executing the code, you will not be able to answer this. This will actually work. That's the fun. Now I can see Naglata, Janab, Samir, you didn't executed this code, right? So this will work, right? Right. This will work. So I can just write this will work, or I will just write an empty list. Empty list will not work, will not work, work. But a list with only one element will work. Element will work. This is the beauty. Again, let's say, fine. This is cool. Can this work? Instead of plus, I can use multiply. Can this work, guys? Right. Everyone, will this work? See it here. This is one. It will also work. So you cannot say that by default it is one value. No, it is just giving one. That's it. Right. Right. It is one here. So you can just assume that by default in addition, just assumption, but it's not true. Assumption by default, by default in addition, it's 0 and multiplication 1. By default in addition, the other element. But it is not correct. But just for sake of understanding, you can just think it. What happens actually? Just return the same value. That's it. Nothing else. Now, guys, can you solve one more question? So let's say you have a list value of like this. So list is equals to 23, 28 or 29, 1, 2, 3, 102 and 11. Can you find the minimum number using the reduce function? The minimum number using the reduce function. Anyone wants to try it out? Quickly, everyone. Santanu has written something. Let's copy it, Santanu's code, and let's say it. Right, right. Punctual reduce. Very good. I think this would work. Just minimum is 3. Sada has written something more different. Right. Good, Sada. Right. He has used minimum of function, and let's see. Yes, both way it is working. Very good, very good. Right. Praveen is Praveen has used more shortcut. So let's see if Praveen's code work or not. C is like this. Let's say C has provided the minimum value, minimum, and then just pass the list. Very good, Praveen. This is also working. Whatever way you want to use, please go ahead and do this. So far, so good, guys. Everyone happy till here? Right, right, right. Very good, very good. So you guys have almost, you know, uh, done it correctly, right? So let's take some break, guys, and then we will again come back. Should we take a break now, everyone? Yes or no? So yes, so let's take a break. So I will just write a timer here. Write a timer. Let's take 10 minutes of break. 10 minutes timer, and then meet again after 10.
फौजियों के बारे में बताना चाहूंगा। वो 1971 की लड़ाई में बॉर्डर
Should we start, guys, everyone? Yes or no? Quickly. Should we start, everyone? Everyone back? Very good. Very good. So let's start, everyone. Right. So we have understood a lot of things as of now. Right. Right. So let's move ahead with other things. So let's say we have, right. So we have this particular func tool reduce, func tool, no, uh, dot reduce. We have understood that. Very good. Very good. Not a problem. Let's try to understand one more question and then we will move ahead. So let's say we have words is equals to in a list. Let's career, career. Then we have craft. Let's say craft and then data science. Before guys going ahead, so how many of you are finding this concepts interesting? How are you guys finding it? Is it boring, guys, everyone? Right. Anyone finding it boring? Not able to understand? Anyone? Right. No one is finding it boring, guys. When I studied for the first time, I slept. Right. It was very boring for me. How come it is not boring for you guys? Right. Right. Okay. Samir says I have motivation. Very good, Samir. So you mean to say I didn't have motivation while learning? Okay, just kidding. Very good, very good. So if you guys are enjoying, that's good. That's a good thing, right? So now let's say this is your words, right? Again, what you can do, func tool dot reduce. Let's say you can use this. I just want to show you one more application, func tool dot reduce, right? Right, and then I just want, let's say, lambda. I just want lambda, lambda, and let's say x comma y. Let's say x comma y. Then I want what I have functools dot reduce. I just want lambda, 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 x comma y. Let's say, and then what I want to do, I just want to do x plus some space, then y. Right. Functool dot reduce lambda x y. Okay, I haven't given the words. So once. So career craft days. So this I am combining multiple factors. Very good. Not a problem. So we have understood a lot of things. Now we are going towards another inbuilt function that is called as filter. This is a very small function. You don't need to worry about this much. Filter. And then we will go to iterators, generators, and recursion. So today we want to complete the, you want to complete this complete function chapter so that in the next lecture we are want to start with oops. Jeep is also there. Very good. Jeep is also there. Jeep is also there. So lambda, map, reduce, filter functions. Right. Very good. So let's see it now. What is the filter? Filter. Filter function. It is used to filter elements. It is used to filter elements from an iterable based on some certain condition. Some certain condition. What is the syntax? Syntax is again very simple. Syntax is, let's say, filter, filter, and then we have function, and then we have iterable. This is the syntax. Now let's move ahead. So we have L. So this L is, let's say, 23, 39, 12, 300 to 11. Now I want to filter this particular list with only those numbers which are, let's say, even. So how can you do? Very easy. Lambda, just write lambda x. Then just write x %2 %2 is equals to 0. Very easy. Just pass this L. Inside what? Filter, filter, filter. Done. Let's see what will happen. This is a filter object. Now convert this to a list in order to look after the values. So the moment you do, you will get all the even numbers out here. Let's say you want to filter the numbers, right? That is your odd. What you can do is not equals to 0. Is not equals to 0. See? Okay. So all the odd numbers are now here. 23, 39, 3, 11. Let's say you have another list. L1 equals to some number. -3, -3, -2, 1, 11, 20. Something like that. Now if you want to filter all the numbers which are less than 0, can you do so? Again, yes. Just try to copy this and just use here. Now what will happen? X %2, here you can just write less than 0. Done. Right. So less than 0. Right. See here. This should be x less than 0. X less than 0. What happened? There are three numbers, right? -3, -2. Okay, I'm not using L1. Okay, L1. So this is -3, -2. Done. Again moving ahead. Again moving ahead. Let's say S is equals to something. Let's say career, career, craft, craft. Let's say data science, data science. Let's say machine learning, right? Machine learning, right? Machine learning. Now you want to filter all those strings whose length of character is, let's say, greater than 3. What you can do? First, write a lambda function, x, and just write length of x. That's it. And this should be maybe greater than 3. You will pass the string, let's say s. Now what you can do here? Just use filter. Filter. You want this condition to be filtered in that particular s. Now convert this to a list. You will get all the elements. Done. ds is no more there because the length of character is this. This is the understanding. Right? Now till now we have only used, right, lambda function with the filter function. Can we use other functions? Can we use normal functions? The answer is yes. How? So let's say here def check number is even. Check number is even. Check if the number is even. So let's say number is there. Now if I just write if num %2 is equals to 0. That's I'm writing. If it is true, return true, else return false. Return false. Very easy. Now let's say what we have. We have some number. Number is equals to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now can I apply this function on this number? Yes. So let's say filter. Just pass the function name. Not call it. Just pass the number. Check even number. Done. Now convert this to a list. So you will convert this to a list and then you will get the number 246. This is the filter operation. Similarly, can you pass a function in the reduce? The answer is yes. You can also pass a function in the reduce. How? So let's say you define a function add here x comma y. How to pass it? Very simple. Apart from lambda, you can also pass a function return x plus y. How to pass this? So add and here, right? What you can do? Fine. I add it like this. So reduce. This is your function, and then you can also pass a list. So maybe I will just write L is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very easy, and just pass it like this. See, functol dot reduce, functool dot reduce, functools dot reduce. Done. 320, 4, 3, 7, 2, 9, 10. Sorry, 10. You got this. This is the understanding. Any function, whatever we have studied till now, right? You can pass a proper function or you can pass a lambda function. Don't get confused that only we can pass a lambda function. No, never think in that direction. In the map also, you can pass any function. So let's say I will just show you in the map as well, apart from the lambda. So here it is map. So fine, this is a map, right? This is a map, right? Right. So def add. So let's say this is your x, right? Fine, this is your x. Return x plus 10. Right. You want to add each of the list number by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what you can do? Just write map, and just pass here add and then list. Done. Right. Then convert this to the list. You can do this as well. See? Right. Passing non-lambda function, passing other than lambda function. Right. So I showed you that other function can also be passed in the map, reduce, or filter. Doesn't matter whatever you are using. Right. Right. Passing other function than lambda. That is the understanding. Right. Now, there are some comments in the chat. Let me check it out. Right. Why we use filter if we can filter throughout the list comprehension? Doesn't matter. You can do that. Right. Adeline says this. List object is not iterable. Let's say. So this is a code of Adeline. Right. So here we have -3 lambda x. Right. X less than 0. It is giving you everything. There's no any error. You might have defined something, some variable by the name of list, filter, or lambda. That's why you are getting some error, right? You have to just restart the kernel and just execute this piece of the code. You will not face any issue, right? Right. Anyone else has any other questions so far, right? Because now we are going ahead with something more unique thing, right? And this is going to be more interesting. So we have seen lambda, map, reduce, filter. Now we are going to understand one very important concept that is called as recursive function. What is recursive? What is recursion? Why actually still it exists in this world we are going to understand this in very detail, right? Guys, so do you have any questions till now? Quickly, everyone, right? Right. Anyone has any questions so far? Quickly, guys, everyone has to answer this. No? Very good. Very good. Very good. So let's start, guys. Let's start. Right. Let's start. Now, we are going to look at one concept, that is a recursive function. So now I will search one thing. Just search one thing. Rabbit problem. Rabbit problem. This is rabbit problem in Australia, but anyway. Rabbit problem, Fibonacci. Let's see. This is the question. Right, right, right. So actually this recursion or recursive function came into existence due to this Fibonacci series. And how did it arrive? It arrived from this function or this problem statement, that is rabbit. So actually this problem statement was of 12th century, right? In the West, the Fibonacci sequence first appears in the book Liber Abaci 1202 by Leonardo of Pisa, known as Fibonacci. This is very interesting. I don't know how many of you might be knowing this, but actually this is the history of Fibonacci series, right? And due to this Fibonacci series, we have the whole new world of recursive function. Right? Someone says recursive function. How do you know? Right? You know it from Fibonacci. So this is actually the puzzle, right? This was the puzzle. So just copy paste it, right? Recursion, right? Recursion. So we are going to study recursive function, and one of the example of recursive function is Fibonacci series. One example is Fibonacci series, right? How did it came arrive? How did Fibonacci series arrive? Fibonacci's problem, puzzle was found in 12th century. Was found in 12th century. So this problem statement almost 1000 years ago, and we are going to study now. This is really interesting. This is really interesting. Please guys, go ahead and try to understand more of this, why it came into existence. But what is the problem statement? A single newborn pair of rabbits, one male and one female, are put in a field. Rabbits are able to mate at the age of 1 month, so that at the end of its second month, a female can produce another pair of rabbits. Rabbits never die, and a mating pair always produces one new pair, one male and one female every month from the second month onwards. Right, right. So the question was, how many pairs will be there in 1 year? Right, again, this is uh, you know, literally a puzzle. But if I have to explain you, very simple. The first month there is no one, right? Right. So it's like Jurvet month. It's a Jurvet month. Jurvet month. Jurvet month. Jurvet month. No rabbit is there, right? After first month, one pair is there. One pair, right? One pair is there. After first month, after first month, one pair. Now, after the end of first month, what will happen? Right? There will be this one pair and this Jurvet pair. Still, it will be one pair after the month, 1 month end. Then, after the second month end, this will be two, right? After the third month end, this will be 3, right? Because 2 plus 1, 3. After consecutive month end, this will be 3 plus 2, 5. And then 5 plus 3, 8, and so on. And this is a Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series. You can say whatever you want to, Fibonacci or Fibonacci, doesn't matter. But this is a Fibonacci series. What is a Fibonacci series? Very easy. Fibonacci series is something like this. Right? 0, first month, right? Then we have 1, 0 plus 1, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3. So addition of last two values. That's it. Addition of last two values, right? Addition of last two values. That is your Fibonacci series. Fine, this is your Fibonacci series. But why are we actually reading this Fibonacci series in context of recursive function? In context of recursive function? Now this is the question. We are going to study about recursive function. Then how does even this Fibonacci series comes into the picture? Now this is the question. So basically, if you try to understand, in Fibonacci series, it is the addition of last two numbers. And how can you do the addition of last two numbers? You need to have some mechanism that repeatedly something has been added, right? And recursion, name itself is recursion. Recursion is one of the way to do so. So what is a recursive function? Right? What is a recursive function? Recursive function. What is a recursive function? A function tries to call itself again and again until it is exhausted. Until it is exhausted. This is your recursive function. And this concept will be used in Fibonacci series. Calculation of Fibonacci series. I will come to that. But actually, do we need this recursive function? Do we need this type of recursive function? The answer is no. It is not compulsory. What is this recursive function? Recursive function is calling code again and again. Again and again. If you remember, we have also studied one thing that is called as loops. Loops also cause the code again and again. So you can use the loop as well. So recursive function is actually replacement of actually it is replacement of what? Loops. Replacement of loops. But unfortunately in industry loops is still preferred. Loops is still preferred. Now you must be thinking, loops is still preferred, then why are we studying recursive function? Why are we studying recursive function, if loops is still preferred? So basically what happens, there are two things to it. First, why recursive function is not used, you need to understand that. And if you understand that, then automatically you will understand why loop is used in the industry. So recursive function is not used because it requires the base condition. What is a recursive function? A function tries to call itself again and again. But when to stop? That is the question. You have to stop one day. So when to stop that particular thing? That is the question. And that is actually the problem while writing the code. If you don't stop calling it again and again, then it will be in a infinite mode. That's the problem. Now, now, we will now try to understand actually how to write the code using recursive function and a normal method, right? So let's try to look at this, right? So what I will do, just a second. What is, we'll just take one uh, beautiful method and then we'll start with this. Okay, right, right. Now, what I can do, we will start with the same question, right? We'll start with the same question. Right? The question is write, write, right, 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 or write a program to calculate nth Fibonacci number. Fibonacci number. You know what is the Fibonacci series? You already know. We have already seen this, right? But now you have to actually calculate nth Fibonacci number. So I'll just write a normal function using traditional method or using loops, whatever you have seen so far, using loops. What I will do, def Fibonacci. So let's say Fibonacci. I will just write like this, and then this is your n. Right? Very right, right, right. So now, if see it carefully, n is less than equals to 0, right? So you can just write a return invalid number, return invalid number. So Fibonacci is not possible for this invalid number. Invalid. If alif alif n is equals to 1, then for Fibonacci of 1, it will be 0. So let's say return 0. Because the first Fibonacci is 0. So I will just write it here. First Fibonacci number is 0. Where? Right. Now again alif. Now if n is equals to 2, let's say if n value is 2, then return let's say 1. Because second Fibonacci number is 1. Fair enough, not a problem. So I'll just pass this value and check it also. So Fibonacci, here I can just pass, let's say 0. What will happen 0? Here invalid number, right? Because less than 0. The first number, let's say here it is 0. Very good. Second number, it is 1. It is working fine. Now what I'm going to do, initialize the first two number of Fibonacci. So what I can do, a comma b is equals to 0 comma 1. So a is 0 and b is 1. This is the way you initialize the variable. You can do this way. Now comes the interesting thing. For I in range of 2 to n, 2 to n. For I in range of 2 to n, what I'm going to do, a comma b, see it carefully, is equals to b comma a plus b. And finally, I will just say return b. return B. Now let's execute this. Let's say third Fibonacci number. See, it is 1. Now fourth Fibonacci number, you should go 2. Fifth Fibonacci number, 3. Right. Let's say 100th Fibonacci number, you will get some value like this. Easy. Now, what is the logic of this? This is more important to understand, because till here there was no any problem understanding this. But what is the logic with this? So for I in range 2 to n, what is the dry run of this code? So from 2 to n minus 1, let's say value, you are saying A is B. Right? A is B. So A was first 0, right? And B was 1. Now you are saying A is 1 and B is A plus 1. That is 0. So 0 plus 1. That becomes the addition. Now again it come back to this. Again it come back to this. Inside this loop, again it comes back. And then again, whatever A is there, it has been assigned to B, and B becomes the summation of the current and the previous number. So to make you guys understand, ideally I should have a pane that would have been helped a lot. For I in range of 2 to n. This is very interesting problem statement. So let's see it in detail. For I in range 2 to n, A comma B is equals to B comma A plus B. Now I am writing here A is and B is 0 comma 1. A is 0, B is 1. We already have said that. Very good, not a problem. Right. A is 0, B is 1. Very good. Now what happens in the first iteration? For I in range 2 to n, right? A to B. So A is, let's say here, A here is, at this point, this is A is 0 and B is 1. But now you have assigned A is equals to B. So this A has become 1 and this B has become A plus 1. That is 0 plus 1. This has become 1. Again it will go back, right? So now you have A and B 1. So this time A becomes B again. So this 1 becomes 1 and B becomes A plus B. So 1 plus 1, this becomes 2. Again go back inside the loop. This time A becomes B. This 1 becomes 2 and this B becomes 2 plus 1, that is 3. Again go back inside the loop. A is now becomes A becomes B. So this becomes, right, 3 and B becomes A plus B, that is 3 plus 2, 5. And this is how Fibonacci is working, and at the end of the day you are returning B, that is the finally added number, and that's how you got the number. Is it clear first? Using loops, is it clear everyone how to calculate the Fibonacci number? Very important with respect to interview. Someone wants to just reject it without any headache, they will ask the questions on Fibonacci number. Is it clear everyone? This is the most asked question in the interview. Right? Right. Is it clear everyone? Very good. Very good. Right. Very good. Not a problem. Now, can I just write this? Can I actually write this using recursion? Can I use recursion? Can I use recursion? Now that's the question. How to use the recursion? So let's try to do this. Now Fibonacci series, and nth Fibonacci series, Fibonacci series, Fibonacci series, using recursion. Recursion. So what I can do now? I will again generate the gen of Fibonacci. So you want to generate the Fibonacci number of nth number. Very good, not a problem. Right. Again, you can just copy paste this condition. Doesn't matter. If you want to copy this, you can just copy paste this condition. So I will just copy paste this condition. Not a problem. I will just copy paste. This is your corner cases. Right. You have copied pasted. Now next, you don't need to write this much of code. What you can do? Very simple. Return, right? Return. See it carefully. Right? Return, and this time call this function again. Gen of fib, and this time just use n-1 plus gen of fib n minus. Very easy. Now execute this. Now call this gen fib of n, right? Gen fib of n with some value. Let's say fifth Fibonacci number you want. It is giving you some value, let's say 3. So 0, 1, 1, and maybe then 1 plus 1, 2, then 2 plus 1, 3. So you are getting this number. This is the understanding. Right. So actually what is happening here? Again, this is going to be very interesting. How it is working? How it is working? Right. So let's say you call gen of Fibonacci, and there the value is 3. So let's say f of 3. You are calling like this, f of 3. Then what will happen? Here f of 3 minus 1, f of 3 minus 2. F of 3 minus 1, f of 3 minus 2. So this becomes f of 2. This becomes f of 1. Now f of 1 you already know is 1, right? And f of 2 again, f of 1, f of 0. And this is how it is working. Finally f of 0 is 0, f of 1 is 1. And this is how it gives you the result. I will show you more. Let's say 7, gen fib, this function of 7. Let's say there is a 7. You want to know the Fibonacci series of 7th number. In this case, what will happen? Right. So f7 minus 1, that is 6, and f7 minus 2, that is 5. F of 5. So the logic was n minus 1 and minus 2. Then this will 4, 3. Again this way 3, 2. This will 2, 1. This will be 5 and this 4. Right. This is your 4. This is your 3. This is your 3. This is your 2. And calculation goes on until it hits the base condition. The function will keep calling itself. The function will keep calling itself until it hits the base condition. Right? Right. Until it hits the base condition. Right. This is the understanding. Right. Is it clear, guys, how it is working? Everyone? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Quickly. Right. 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 Yes or no? Everyone, is it clear so far? Because now I am going to show you interesting thing. So let's say fifth number is fine, 3. Now I am going to take sixth number. This is your recursive function. Very good, not a problem. Let's say 100th number. See it carefully. Now you are stuck. It will take a lot of time. In fact, I have to re-interrupt it, right? Because it will take a lot of time. 10. See, this is a number. See how it is increasing. This is 34 only. Now, the moment you write 20th number, this number is 4181. Very good. Now see it carefully. 20. Fine. See the 30. See the difference. From 4,000 to 5 lakh. See the difference now more. 40. See, it will now start becoming very slow. It will be very, very slow. Right? Why it is becoming very slow? Right? Why recursive function here in the case of Fibonacci series is becoming very slow? See, this was very slow calculation. Why it is so? If you have understood the working of this, you will understand this why it is slow. See, this recursive function is slow, but if you see here, calculation of 100 was easy. It didn't took any time. So let's say here, see, it was so easy to calculate. But the moment you use recursion in the case of Fibonacci series, the time complexity increases. In loops, the series, Fibonacci calculation of 100th number was fast. But as soon as you used recursion, it became very slow. Now the question is, what happened? What do you think, guys? What happened? Anyone has any idea? See this image and try to answer this. What has happened here? Answer it, guys, quickly. What do you think? What has happened here? Right, right. Guys, start using your brain, everyone. Please start using your brain. If you are feeling sleepy, it's okay. I will not teach things. Right, right. But what is happening here? Guys, see it carefully. Each time, let's say once you have calculated the Fibonacci of 3 here, again you are calculating the Fibonacci of 3 here, again you are calculating the Fibonacci of 3 here, again you are calculating the Fibonacci of 3 here. So repeatedly, Fibonacci of numbers are being calculated. Right? Right. So why? Why it is slow? Became very slow. Why slow in Fibonacci? Why slow using recursion? Recursion because each time the Fibonacci of one number is calculated multiple times. Did you understood this, everyone? This you guys understood, yes or no? Guys, this you will not get anywhere. Please focus on this. Right, right, right. Everyone, is it clear? Yes or no? Quickly. Now to tackle this type of problem, right? To tackle down this problem, what we have to do, right? So there is a time-space trade-off. Time-space trade-off. Now you see here, the time is taking more, right? Now you just say that I'm ready for space being more, but I want it to be very, very fast. Then we have a concept called memoization. So I can just write memoization. Memoization. Just Google it out, the spelling, right? Memoization. So this is the whole concept of memoization, right? Yeah, memoization. So this is the whole concept of dynamic programming, right? But this is the memoization. So what does it mean? To the time, reduce the time complexity or time execution. We are ready for more space, more space. This is your memoization. So now in this case, what you will do? Either use loop, right, 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 or some way try to figure it out. How can you do this? So for example, think it, how can we make it fast? Can we do one thing while calculating the recursive function of, let's say, 3? Once you have created 3, just store it somewhere, and the next time, right, what you can do? You can just call it that directly. Let's say if you have calculated 4 once, right? Why to calculate it again here? Just store this 4 somewhere, and whenever you want to just call it from there. Isn't it the valid approach, guys? Everyone? Don't you think that? Is it a valid approach or not? Why will you calculate everything repeatedly? Right? Just calculate the thing and store it somewhere. Now, how can we do this? So for this, I will just modify this particular function. Right, right, right. Now what I'm going to do? Memoization, memoization. What is memoization? It stores previously computed Fibonacci numbers numbers to avoid redundant calculation to make it faster. That's it. And what I am going to do? So let's say we have this, right? Now here I will pass one more thing. So let's say here I will just put a by default memo, something like this. Memo. This is your input dictionary, empty dictionary. Now what I will say, right? If and not in mem, if and not in mem, if the given number is not in this dictionary, then calculate this. Then calculate this. Simple, right? Then calculate this. How will you calculate? Memo of n. Memo of n, right? And this time I will just write genfib n minus 1 and then again pass the whole dictionary. And again n minus 2, then again memo. Done. And in last, I will return the memo of n value. Just now execute it genfib of 100. Let's say genfib of, first let's try to see if the code is correct or not. So first 10, very good, the value is there. Now calculate using 100. Easily you have got the value. Earlier it was a long thing, you had to wait. Now see, it has become so fast. What you have done? Each time you are calculating, you are just storing that in dictionary with that particular number and nothing else. right? And nothing else. So this is the way you actually, you actually, right, implement Fibonacci series, right? Or in other word, right? In other word, right, right. In other word, you have seen how to optimize the Fibonacci number. Now, using lambda function, using lambda function, lambda function, lambda function. If you want to have Fibonacci number, you want to have Fibonacci number, Fibonacci number, then you can get it like that as well. How? Very easy, right? So let's say lambda n, right? So n, if n is less than equals to 1, else fib, fib n minus 1, n minus 1 plus fib n minus 2. So you can also call something recursively, right, using even lambda function. Right? This is your fib, fib. Now just you want it something like this: fib of I, fib of I, right, for I in range 10, for I in range 10. This time you want all the Fibonacci numbers, so you can just do this as well, right? This as well. Now just execute this. This is the number. This is the complete understanding of recursion, right? Complete understanding of recursion and the use of lambda function with recursion. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Quickly. Do you guys want to practice few more questions? Yes or no? Right, right, right. Sajal says, sir, pause. Okay. थोड़ा लिख ले. Okay, you want to write? Okay. So let's try to solve one more function. Right. Factorial. Right. Right. Factorial. Factorial using recursion. And then again, I will show you using lambda as well. Not a problem. Right. 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 What is the factorial of number? So let's say if someone asks you what is factorial of 0, it simply means 1. If someone asks you factorial of 1, it is still 1. If someone asks you factorial of 2, factorial of 2, factorial of 2, then it will be 2 into 1, 2 into 1. If someone asks you factorial of 3, factorial of 3, right? So then again you can say 3 into 2 into 1. So what is the meaning of this factorial? Any number, right? So let's say someone asks you factorial of 5. What is factorial of 5? 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Start from 5, multiply till 1. This is your factorial 5. Did you guys first understood this? What is factorial? It is denoted by like this, factorial 5, or sometimes like this as well. Take any number. Let's say factorial of 100. What is the meaning of this? 100 into 99, right, into 98, right, and so on till 1. This is the understanding of factorial 100. You multiply from the number till 1. Is it clear, factorial guys, everyone? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys, quickly? Everyone. Right, right, right. Now, how to write this? How to write this? Right. How to write this in a recursion? Very easy. So let's say def factorial number, and let's say this is your n, right? This is your n. So if n is equals to 0, because this is a corner case, then return 1. Return 1. Now else. What will happen? Else return n into factorial number, let's say n minus 1. N minus 1. Done. Now calculate the factorial number. So factorial number, let's try to see this. Factorial number, let's say here 0. It will give you 1. Very good. 1, 1. Now factorial of 2, 2 into 1, 2. Factorial of 3, 3 to just 6 into 1, 6. Factorial of 5, which is 120. So you got this factorial using recursion. Each time this function is called repeatedly. Right? Right. Now, can you use a lambda function for that? Right. Right. Yes, you can do that. Right. Factorial using lambda function. So what will happen, guys, here? Lambda, right, and here 1 if n is equals to 0, else n into factorial number of n minus 1. Now whatever you have written here, fact number, you have to rename this lambda function same as it is. This done. Now factorial number of 5, just write it like this, so you will get 120. This is the understanding. Right? Right? Guys, you know multiplication, right? How do you make a multiplication table? So let's say here, normal multiplication using normal loop. Guys, today we will not be able to complete iterators and generators. So maybe in the next lecture we will be completing iterators, generators, and introduction to OOPS will start in the next lecture. But still, at least we will complete this function in detail. Right. So multiplication using normal loop. So how will you do this? So def multiply, and then you will just pass a comma b. Right. A comma b. Now let's say result is equals to 0. What is multiplication, guys? If you remember, multiplication is repeated addition. 4 threes are 12. What is the meaning of this? 4 plus 4 plus 4, that is 12. Repeated addition. So now what I can do? For I in range of b, result is equals to result plus 1. Sorry, result plus, right. Oh, okay. Here I have written wrong. Result equals to 0. I have done O. So result plus A. Now here you can print the result. So here I will just write it here. Print result or result. I will just do one thing. Let it be result. So now execute this multiply. So we'll just call multiply here. Instead of A and B, what you can write? Multiply. So let's say 3, and instead of 2, B 2. So 3 to the 6. Let's say 5, and let's say 2. 5 to the 10. 10 into 2, 20. What is this? Right. This is multiplication. What is multiplication? A repeated addition. So if someone writes 10 into 2, what is the meaning of this? 10 plus 10. If someone says here 4 into 3, what is the meaning of this? 4 plus 4 plus 4. Now, start thinking in terms of recursion. Can it be a recursion problem? 4 into 3? Yes, it can be a recursion problem. How? See, it's simple. Can I write this 4 plus 2 into 4? Can I write this? Then again, 4 plus 4 plus 1 into 4. What is this? This is again a recursion problem. Here the base condition is 1. Right. Now I can just write this above multiplication can be converted to a uh, recursion problem with base condition 1. We can do this with base condition 1. Now how to do this? Right. Just make a function def multiplication mult of a and b, a comma b. Very easy. Now if b is equals to 1, then what you will do? Return a. Because any number is 1, right? Then that number will be returned. And else, what you can do? Else return a plus multiplication of mult of a comma b minus 1. Try to do this multiplication of, let's say, 5 3s, right? Multiplication of 10 2s. Let's say maybe take 10 2. That is the example that we took. See, 20. Same multiplication now has been converted to a recursion problem. Has been converted to a recursion problem. Right. You want, guys, more example of recursion, or is it clear? Everyone want more example of recursion, or is it clear? Quickly. Everyone, any questions so far? Quickly, guys, any questions so far? Any questions so far? Vipin says one more. Anyone else? Right? Anyone has any more questions? No questions? Okay. Let's say one more question. Right? To find sum till nth number. Find it, guys. Do it. Find sum till nth number. Right? Very easy. Def sum till nth number. Sum till nth number. Till nth. Let's say here it is n. Now what I'm going to do? If n is equals to 1, if n is 1, then obviously you will return 1. Now I am saying, let's say else. What I will do? Else n plus. Copy this. Sum till nth. I will copy this. Sum till nth. And here I can just write n minus 1. See, now sum till n. Try to execute this. Array yaar. So sum till nth number. Just copy this. Control C, Control V, and let's say this time you pass the number 8. Oh, 8 is non-type. Sum till nth, n plus n minus 1. Okay, sorry guys, I didn't write here return. Sorry. So sum till. So now you see 36, or let's say 5. Easy. 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is 15. Let's say 3. 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6. Right? How it is working? Again, very easy to understand. Right? Very easy to understand. So let's say sum till 5. What will happen? 5 plus sum of 4. Now 5 plus 4 plus sum of 3. Recursively it is calling the function. 5 plus 4 plus 3. This will be now as of 2. And so on. And at the last, 3 to 1, this will be the result. Just add it. Right. Believe me guys, 90% of the candidate finds the recursion to be the toughest thing. But if you still find recursion to be tough, then I have done a lot of mistake in teaching that. Right. Is it clear everyone so far? Anyone has any questions till here? You want more question? You want more question guys? You want more questions? Say it. Okay, I will give you one more question. Right, right. Let's see. Let's see one more question. Right. Check if a number is palindrome. Palindrome using recursion. Using recursion. Not number, it is string. Check if a string is palindrome using recursion. What is palindrome? Right. What is palindrome? So for example, let's say tat. Tat is a word. From starting, it is TAT. From ending, it is also TAT. Madam. Very good, Sajid. Madam. Right. From starting also it is madam. From ending also it is madam. Right. 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 Malayalam. 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 Right. Again, from starting also it is Malayalam. From the ending also it is Malayalam. This is your palindrome. Now, how to actually define palindrome? That is the question. Again, let's say DF palindrome, right? And here, provide any text you want. So let's say text or just write string. String. Right. Very good. If length of string, if the length of string is less than 1, you cannot calculate. This is your base case. You can just write print palindrome. Print palindrome. 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 Now, fine. Right. So this will also handle empty string. Handle. Is my screen not visible?
Your screen is not visible.
Okay. Just a second. Is the screen visible now?
So not.
Okay. 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 So
Actually, that's the meter between one extra and
okay. Okay. Now is it visible? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Now let's say palindrome string less than 1. So this will also help handle the case of empty string. Handle case of empty string. Fine. But now, right, else. What will happen in this else? This is going to be interesting. If if string 0, if string 0 is equals to string minus 1. If string of 0 is equals to string of minus 1. If this is the case, now again call this palindrome function, and then just provide a string, right? 1, 1, 2, minus. Right? Else, not a print, not a valid, not a valid, valid, not a valid, palindrome. Done. That's it. Now try to execute this. Then let's see if we get the right answer. So this is your palindrome, palindrome. So let's say palindrome, and here you can just pass tat. See, this is a palindrome. Let's say uh, any name. Let's say Ajay, right? Not a weight palindrome, right? So anything like that. This is a palindrome, and then we will be having, let's say, here something like this. Ajay, not a palindrome, right? Guys, now you more need more question in recursion. Anyone needs more question on recursion? Let me know now. This is all about recursion. Very, very important. Now, two very small topic left. Right, right. That is zip function. We will complete that and then call out for a day. Zip and then enumerate. Both are very important. Function and recursion. Recursion. And I will be very honest with you guys. I know these things. I know these things. I have taken more than 40 batches, but all of these things I have never taught in any of the batch. Right. Obviously, I want to teach, but there are many constraints. Right. 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 Many constraints like time. Many of the time, students are not interested in studying. But again, this is my batch. Right. Even if you have any complaint that why are you teaching so much, I don't care. Right. But anyway, the idea was the idea of this batch was to, you know, teach everything, whatever there is important. Right. Now, moving ahead, we have zip function. Already we have seen zip function. Is it not that that we have not seen? We have seen zip function, right? Zip function. What is this zip function? Let's say a is equals to right, right. A is equals to, let's say, Ram and Syam. Let's say these are the names. A is equals to Ram and Syam, and B is equals to, let's say, stats, stats and M. Now what we are going to do, right? The moment you write zip of A and B, what is the meaning of zip? I will talk about this. Zip of A and B. So here it creates a zip object, and then if you just write list, then Ram will be tagged to stats, Syam will be tagged to ML. This is the understanding. You can also iterate through this for I in zip of A and B. Zip of A and B. You can iterate through this. So you can just write print of I. Already we have seen earlier as well. The moment you increase one more name, let's say A, right, A will not be taken into the consideration. So I will just write this zip function. So what does this zip function do? Right, right. So zip function combines, combines, combines two elements elements of two iterators, two iterators together, together, together until one exhausts, one exhaust. For example, Ram Syam, and just I will put it Mohan. Now, here, if you see stats and ML is exhausted. That's why Mohan will not be taken into the consideration. Ram, stats done. Syam, ML done. Mohan will not be considered. So if you see here, Ram stats, Syam ML, Mohan you will not get it. So extra element in any iterator, it will be ignored. Extra element in any iterator will be ignored. Will be ignored. Rajkumar says, sir, while we execute the Jeep function, then output come in the list and tuple. I understood list, but why it came in tuple? Why not list or set or dict? So it depends on this. So for example, I will just show you. So this is your list, right? Now I want tuple, right? So let's say tuple. So you get it in tuple, right? So you get it in tuple. See, like this. Now, here there is one more interesting thing. So let's say if you do set, you will get everything in set, right? Now, again one interesting thing. If you want to have a dictionary, you can do that as well. So let's say dictionary, right? What is the question? It came by default. Yes, by default it is this way. The G function this works this way, right? It has been designed so. I don't see any logical explanation to this, right? Right, right. But it has been designed in such a way, right? Right. It comes, and actually, if you see, it is not about any data structure. If you do Jeep of A and B, right? It is in a Jeep object, right? There's no any list, no any tuple, no any state, no any dictionary. It is just that you decide that whenever you say list, then you will get in a form of list. Now, if you say inside this why it is tuple, why inside this is a tuple, then it is by default. It is something by default that you get in tuple. Other than that, what data structure you can think of? So tuple is a very, very important data structure because of this reason that it can be packed and unpacked. Already we have seen that, right? But the main point here is very simple, that by design, everything in the zip, it has been kept as a tuple. That's it. Any more question? Similarly, you have one more function that is called as enumerate. Enumerate function. Similar to zip, right? Similar to zip, similar to zip, but also adds the index. Also gives the index. That's the whole idea. So in this case, for example, for index, 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 and then index, and name and subject in Jeep of, let's say, A comma B. I'm just writing it like this. Print, 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 index, name, sub. Let's see what happens. Okay, print index. Okay, sorry guys. Enumerate. I had to keep it enumerate. So index, name, and sub. Now, if you see list object cannot be interpreted as an integer, enumerate A and B. Why it is happening so? Because here I have not done this. Zip of A. That's it. That's the reason. Zip of A and B. Now here I will just write. Very good. Now you see it. So everything is now coming with an index. 0, RAM, stats, and then you will get 1 Syam ML. This is the understand. So enumerate simply gives you the index. That is the most important thing, right? Many of the time while writing a function, you will require, right, right, right. You will require, right, right, to have the indexes. Rajkumar is saying one more example of enumerate. Very easy. So let's say L is equals to, let's take an easy example. Let's say Ram, Syam, Ram, Syam, and let's say Ram, Syam, and let's say Mohan. Mohan. Ram, Syam, Mohan. Ram, Syam, Mohan. So this is your L. Now just write enumerate of L. Don't do anything. Just write enumerate of L. What do you see? Enumerate object. Now just do list of this. You will understand enumerate in a very easy way. So here you get index 0 is Ram, index 1 is Syam, index 2 is Mohan. That's it. Right? You can use this in a for element in enumerate L. This can also be used right in a loop print element. So see what happens. Print element. All the index values are there. Similar to zip, but extra thing is here you get a index. Yes, it will give result index wise. Now last interview questions for this lecture. What are the interview questions? Right. So here we have, so basically to be very honest, this is the most important lecture with respect to interview as compared to any lecture till now. They will ask you what is use of map, lambda, reduce, filter, reduce, filter, filter, right? Jeep, enumerate, right? Right, right, right. Rajkumar asked when we use Jeep and when we use enumerate. Whenever you require index, then you will use enumerate. So whenever you want any data to be ordered with respect to index, then you use enumerate. Otherwise, you don't care. Right? Otherwise, you don't care. Now, what is the use of map, lambda, reduce, filter, jeep, enumerate? What is recursion? What is recursion? Right? What is Fibonacci series? Please, can you code this? Fibonacci series. Code this. Right, right. So these are the interview questions. Right. Now, Rajkumar asks, both are given result behalf of index. No, both are giving you result with respect to index in order, but it doesn't mean that the values have the index attached. So for example, I can give you, so here let's say jeep of L1. First of all, it will give you like this, right? Jeep of L. Let's say I will give you jeep of L, right? So this will give you jeep of L. And if you just do list, let's say it, what happens? So here you don't get any index. That is the point. Ram, Syam, Mohan. You don't get any index number. Simple. But the moment you do enumerate, 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 right? Enumerate, and just do L1, right? Sorry, L. Same thing. You will get index, index like this. Now, where it is useful, right? Right. Right. What I mean by comma here? Rajkumar, go to basics. Basic. You cannot define a tuple with one element. If you define one element with tuple, it is not possible. How it is defined? Using comma, right? It is used defined comma. Now, enumerate and jeep, there is a lot of use cases in the industry. Right? Lot of use cases. Many of the time, while using loop, you want index to be intact. You will use this, right? Right. Jeep is very easy because Jeep we have seen multiple times in data structure. But in enumerate, whenever you want your index to be intact, then you can just use. Right. Right. Whenever index is important, you will use enumerate. Right? For example, let's say, there is a stack. Right? There are some vegetables. Index 1, bangan. Index 2, potato. Index 3, tomato. Right? So this is your different bifurcation or different, uh, stacks. 1, 2, 3. If you don't want to know on which stack which vegetables are there, use zip function. If you want to use, or if you want to know, right, on which stack which vegetable are there, then you will use enumerate, because enumerate will help you to know that. That's the understanding. Very, very important. Today's lecture is very, very important with respect to interview. So guys, that would be all for today's lecture. If you guys have any doubts, please go ahead and ask your doubts. Right. This will be all for today's lecture. Let's meet in the next lecture. If you guys have any doubt, now it's your turn.